you have to change the course you're on if you want a different outcome. And so if the original reason for the cancer wasn't identified, and there are a number of things that cause cancer. So first of all, cancer is not something that develops overnight. For most people, this is about a 10-year process from the original development of cancer to when it becomes clinically relevant. And there is usually some kind of inciting event 1 year, 2 years, 3 years before. So a death of a spouse, a friend, a parent, a child, God forbid, or a divorce, or a job change, or a move, or some significantly stressful event that took you from being able to be in homeostasis, allowing your immune system to keep that cancer in check, to the immune system is now overwhelmed. So it's the combination of some kind of traumatic event coupled with you exceeding your toxic burden. And the work is in discovering what your toxins are. Are your toxins relationships? Are your toxins chemicals? Are your toxins food and your diet? Are your toxins mold? Are they parasites? Are they chronic viral infections or chronic bacterial infections like Lyme? So there are any number of things that can really lead to these chronic inflammatory states. And it's really about identifying them and remediating them. So cutting off a tumor is not going to change the trajectory of the disease. It's just not. And if someone already has systemic disease and systemic manifestations like metastatic disease, cutting out the tumor might delay progression of that lesion, but it is not going to change the long-term outcome. And the only way to change the long-term outcome is to do the work, do the digging, figure out what the inflammatory stimulus is, and create that anti-inflammatory environment. That's really the key. And that's the key for everyone across the board, is that we have to go from this stress chemistry that actually kind of is the most suitable environment and the most provocative environment for cancer. So we have to go from that stress chemistry to the chemistry of joy, to creating an environment that does not foster disease, but instead fosters health.
Yeah. And I think that is really impactful too, because I think whenever someone has a diagnosis, they just look at it and they just think, oh, well, just let's get it out of here. And I want to get back to normal, and oftentimes I was like,
let's talk about that.
Yeah. And so it's like, normal brought you to me. So yeah. What would you say to that?
Yeah. Absolutely. So we want to create a new normal, because the last normal got you the diagnosis, right? And we have normalized lots of things that we should not tolerate, right? Because the traditional medical system doesn't know how to promote health. The only way to get into the traditional medical system is to be broken, is to have disease, is to have a diagnosis, is to fail, right? That's the only way. No one goes to the doctor and says, Doc, I am so healthy. How can I be healthier? That never happens. Literally never happens, right? So the only time you go to the doctor is when you don't feel well. You don't feel right. There's something wrong. And the doctor runs tests and puts you on the line of fine. You're fine. All your tests are normal. You're fine, right? But I'm not sleeping well. Oh, well, here, take that sleeping pill. But I'm not feeling well. But I don't have the energy I used to have. But my joints ache. Oh, you're getting older, right? I mean, this is what they say. And the truth is that the reason that you don't feel well is because you're not well. And it's your body telling you so. Because when we look at populations like the blue zones, these are scattered areas, 8 scattered areas around the world where these populations live well over 100 years, right? And they don't live sick for the last 20 or 30 years, like they do in this country, they live well over 100 years. And the reason they do is because they live extremely healthy, connected, active, meaningful lives. And it is not normal to not feel well. And aging is not a reason to not feel well. So if you feel your health declining, that is not normal. We have normalized it because our doctors don't know what to do about it. They don't know how to promote health. They're not trained in that. But we have to stop this. It's normal, right? We have to stop. And we've done it across the board. I mean, it's really embarrassing. Like, we've made the normal lab values bigger and bigger and bigger because we don't know what to do about them, right? We don't know how to optimize them. So we just call the normal range bigger, and it's terrible. And it's resulted in our health crisis, which is very, very real. And we are trying and failing to use an acute care model to manage chronic disease, and it's simply not working. Not working.
And that is a great comment, because we're trying to do something acutely for something that's chronic. And if you're not going to address the chronic, it's like putting something at the back of your burner and expecting it to just simmer there forever. Eventually the bottom of the pot is going to burn. And that's the thing. It's like, you can't just put it back and say it's fine when it's not fine. And then, like you said, shift the lab levels, right? There's like, I look at it like there's an optimal level and then there's the clinical level, right? It's like we all need to be going for the optimal level, especially if we want to live well, and we want to live well like those in the blue zone.
Yeah.